my topic is going to be intrinsic versus extrinsic aging, because they're incredibly important. And why I did this talk is really based on consultations. What are you talking about in your consultations? Are you finding out how they are living their life, right? Their lifestyle outside of you, to know what kind of results you're gonna get for them and what they're going to expect. And I think the most important is how many treatments are they going to need. It really, really varies on how they're living their life, right? So first we will go into the difference between intrinsic versus extrinsic. Intrinsic is just our natural biological process. It's just, listen guys, we're gonna age, not much we can do about it. This is just something that's naturally gonna happen. However, extrinsic aging is something that we really need to consider with our patients. And that is aging that accelerates due to environmental and lifestyle, right? So I don't know, show of hands, who already does a lifestyle intake form? Awesome. So a lifestyle intake form, and by the way, we created one for you. So you guys don't even have to create it. You can just go to our portal, print it out, use it digitally. But it's so important to have that as part of your process when you have a new patient. And it asks questions like, how much water do you drink? Do you drink alcohol? Do you smoke? Do you use sunscreen? Also, there's a page on what treatments are you interested in now that they would check, and what treatments are you potentially interested in the future. So this is also a really good way for you for selling is, okay, they were interested in hair removal, but now you look back at their chart and you see that they checked they're also interested in hyperpigmentation. This is the perfect time now to talk about that. Okay, so it just helps you for the future and it helps you to grow. I'm not gonna spend much time on intrinsic aging just because I don't have a lot of time, but intrinsic aging and the causes are hormonal changes, reduction in glycosaminoglycans, which I will spend some time on. Melanocytes change dramatically as we age. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time on that. Collagen and elastin, we probably all know that changes incredibly as we age. There's a lot of vascular changes, cellular lifestyle changes, and then just overall genetics. And the results are things that we know, right? It's sagging tissue, it's fine lines and wrinkles, it's textural issues, it's dull and dry skin, it's all of the things. Okay, so glycosaminoglycans. It's incredibly important to understand what they are, and I don't think that we talk about them enough. We talk a lot about collagen. We talk a lot about elastin. We understand that that is a major component of our skin. We understand that that's what makes our skin strong and thick, but do we talk enough about glycosaminoglycans? Maybe you do if you're an injector, sure, because you are using a cross-linked HA, which is a glycosaminoglycan. There's many different types of glycosaminoglycans in our skin, but I'm gonna talk about the main one that we all know, and that's hyaluronic acid. That holds 1,000 times its weight in water. So that's what glycosaminoglycans are. They are a hydrating substance, but they do more than just hydrate. They help all cell proliferation, including collagen. I want you to think of it as it is one of the main components that is making up the dermis. It's glycosaminoglycans, it's elastin, and it's collagen. So that's how important they are. They help cells bind together, and what they're doing is they're giving our skin turgidity. What is turgidity? If you guys have watched my webinars, you've probably heard me explain this. But if you have a house plant and you do not water it, I have a basil plant and I travel a lot, so I'm just gonna use that as an example. If I do not water my basil and I come home from a long trip, it's slumped over. Hopefully it's not completely dead. When I add water to it, it's incredible. You come back to that basil plant 2 hours later and it's like it's brand new. Bing! That's what we're doing with glycosaminoglycans to our skin, to our tissue. They are so incredibly important. So don't ignore them. Make sure to really understand them and how important they are to our skin. Okay, so melanocytes. Again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. They do change. They change in the number of melanocytes that we have, and a melanocyte is a cell that produces pigment. So they change in the number of them. For example, why do we get gray hair? Because our melanocytes are changing. Why don't my legs tan? Which I'm not trying to tan them, but if I were at 42 compared to 20, they're not. I hear this all the time with my mom. My legs no longer tan. Well, it's because we're losing a lot of melanin in our skin. However, melanocytes also get too big, and that's when we end up with solar lentigo. I'm not going to spend much time on collagen and elastin just because I don't have the time, but of course that changes over our life. The cellular life cycle of our epidermis, our keratinocytes, that dramatically changes too. You know how we hear our skin cells turn over every month, every 20, okay. That is true when we're not older. When we're older, you can see that dramatically changes in our 40s and 60s. It's 45 to 60 days. And then older than that, it can be all the way up to 90 days. What does that do? It gives our skin a dull, dry, kind of blah appearance to our skin. So we need things to be able to address that. Vascular changes a lot. We start to lose a lot of vascular in our skin. And what does vascular do? Of course, it brings blood to our tissue. What does blood do to our skin? It brings oxygen and nutrients. It makes our tissue and our skin very, very healthy. The more vascular we have, which, remember, energy-based devices can help produce vascular. I mean, we don't want the ones that have gone haywire, and now we have broken capillaries. We want the really good working ones to bring that blood flow to the tissue. And then, okay, now we'll go into the good stuff, extrinsic aging. I don't have a lot of time. I'm skipping this slide. Okay, sun. So I have notes because I don't want to forget to talk about certain things. Sun. Sun is 90% or up to 90% of our aging. However, we cannot be vampires, of course. We need sun for vitamin D. It is, how are your patients treating the sun? Are they being really careful with it? So we have UVA and UVB, and that's why I'm going to talk about sunscreen and the important ones to either sell your patients or if you don't carry a skincare line yet, the ones to offer them. So we have UVA and UVB. UVA penetrates much deeper than UVB because it's a much longer wavelength. It's bypassing the epidermis and it's going directly into our dermis. What is that doing? It's breaking down our collagen, elastin, and our glycosaminoglycans and all the other things, all of our cells. UVB stays more superficial, and it's also part of why we get sunburn. But I want you, when you're in your consultations, talking to them about what type of sunscreen they should be wearing. And I cannot say this enough, and it's not because they're here, but we have Elta MD out there. If you guys have watched my webinars, you have heard me talk about Elta MD for 8 years. We've never been partners with them. Oh my goodness, they're here. They have the best sunscreen. And the big thing is, they're affordable. It's very affordable. And they have ingredients like zinc. Zinc is a vitamin, so zinc is also going to overall help their skin. But their sunscreen is incredible, and it covers both UVA and UVB. They also, because I won't be talking about this later, they also have a great post-laser cream. It's the only one I've ever recommended for post-VFR and now post-Energet. They are incredible. Make sure you chat with them because they are an affordable line to carry, and for your patients it's affordable, which is incredible. Okay, so make sure you're educating them on these things. High SPF 50 plus, always. Cloudy, rainy, snowstorm, always. Next, free radicals. When I first started in this industry, I heard about free radicals, but I had no clue what they were. They're free and they're radical. I don't know anything about them. But they are radical. They are really, really, really bad. So what a free radical is it's an uncharged molecule that's highly reactive and short-lived, but it's highly reactive. And because it is uncharged, it is seeking electrons to make them whole. This is the problem, because guess where they're seeking? Well, everywhere, but also our skin. And it attaches to our skin and it wreaks havoc on our DNA. So free radicals, a lot of times we may think like, oh, it's from pollutants. Not always. Yes, pollutants. Our body makes free radicals when we metabolize food. Free radicals are in water. Free radicals are in food. They are everywhere. So What are free radicals doing? They are causing oxidative stress. I'm going to give you guys a visual. If you cut an apple and you lay it on the counter and you come back 6, 7, 8 hours later, what does it look like? It's brown, right? It's kind of starting to die. That's oxidative stress. That's it. That's what's happening to our skin. If I cut an apple and I squeeze lemon or lime on it and I come back 8 hours later, what does it look like? Like I just cut it. Because that vitamin C, those vitamins are protecting that apple from oxidative stress. That visual, use that in your consults when you're selling an antioxidant. That's what they need. And I always wear antioxidants during the day, but as I started studying more, night too. They are constantly attaching to our skin. So an antioxidant day and night to free ourselves from that oxidative stress. And here are some vitamins that and minerals that are really great for antioxidants. Okay, so let me see if I missed anything. Sorry, I haven't looked at my notes once. Okay, I think I'm good. So next we're going to talk about diet. I won't spend too much time on this, but we spoke about antioxidants and the vitamins and minerals that are in those really great products to wear on your skin. But you can also, of course, get those vitamins and minerals from your diet. It should be a combination of both. Now, listen, in a consultation, I know if you tell them you have to fully change your diet and drink green tea every morning instead of coffee, of course you don't have to go to that extreme and they're gonna be like, yep, I'm hearing ya, and not do it. But just making sure that they understand that it's also coming from our food. Antioxidants you can find them highly in different fruits and vegetables, from eggs, from fish. So it's coming from both. But I'll point out salt. Of course, salt has a big effect on our skin because it's a dehydrator. It's going to create puffiness, things like this. Sugar causes glycation. So if you have a patient that has a very high sugar diet, glycation is a natural process in our body. It's a protein attached to a sugar, and it's natural. However, when you have a really high sugar diet, this is when we're causing excess glycation. That's when it's attaching to our collagen fibers, making them rigid and breaking them down. Okay. Alcohol. I'm sorry, please still come to our party, please still drink tonight, still have fun and dance. But for them to understand that alcohol does have a big effect on our skin. And if you guys have a rosacea client and you can't get it under control and they say, I'm sorry, I drink every night, listen, you can either fully turn them away as a patient or you can absolutely take them on if they know we may not get anywhere. You can treat them all the time and they're drinking alcohol, and that's a vasodilator, and rosacea is already highly dilated. It's working against you. So that's one big thing to point out. But alcohol can also cause dry skin and dry lips, and it really does have a big effect on all of the cells in our skin. Again, we don't have to be crazy strict with our patients, but educating them is really important. Again, especially if you have those vascular patients. Okay, so we've talked about alcohol. What does alcohol do? It dehydrates us. So now we'll talk about hydration. Every device in here, I think, almost, pristine no, but almost every device in here is attracted to water. Our lasers are attracted to water, RF is attracted to water. The Interjet, when our skin is much more hydrated, it responds better. Hydration is critical when it comes to you guys and doing treatments. That is something you must push in your consultations. If they come in with really dry lips, that could be an indication. Of course, if you have the Dermafuse, you can boost them with the intensive hydration and hydrate them right away, but it's better that they're internally hydrated. All of their cells are internally hydrated. You can do a pinch test. If you pinch your skin and it bounces bounces back, you're probably properly hydrated. If it takes a long time and it doesn't fully bounce back, you could be severely dehydrated. But hydration, of course, causes dull and dry skin, so on and so forth. But the thing I really want to push the most is when you're using technology, they must have hydration in their skin. There is a water calculator. There's a water calculator that you can do, which is really precise. Where do they live? Is it the desert? Male or female? Their height, their weight, and it calculates how many ounces they should be drinking. But if you don't want to use that, then it's typically half the body weight in ounces. That's a very easy way of telling them how much water they should be drinking every day. And of course, smoking has a huge effect on our skin, which I do not have time to go through, but you guys probably already knew that. That is it for me.